care which way Dave swings. I just want him singing in front of Van Halen, quite frankly. So it doesn't faze me. I mean, Dave is Dave, and whatever he does and whoever he does, I really don't care. As long as he's in front of a microphone and singing, that's how I want to see Dave.
Right. But I will say this. Quiet Dave will swing the other way if he's paid enough.
No. There's no amount of money.
Oh, that's right.
Sorry.
Right. That's okay. All
Sorry.
Right.
Don't be false advertising.
Okay, you got it.
Don't be doing that. Don't be doing that.
I'm trying to up the ante for you.
Oh, no. Okay. I will do anything for charity, but I won't do that.
Dave will do anything for charity, but he won't go gay.
Okay, sorry.
All right, so
that's not me.
Yeah,
hey,
right.
if it's for you, more power to you.
Me. Don't look talking about me. I'm as straight as an arrow.
No, I meant anybody who's listening to the podcast.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Don't care which way you swing. Don't matter to me, man.
And let me tell you, two of the fiercest lead singers of bands, Freddie Mercury and fucking Rob Halford, man. Both of those guys are gay, and I don't think anybody's going to step on their toes. They're pretty fucking amazing. So no one really cares. Letter number 11. Dear Dave and Dave, love the podcast, and I will try to keep this short since I know you're getting tons of mail now. Right now, the keyboard solo version. I personally think you guys are wrong. I have listened to rock radio, adult contemporary, unwillingly for years, and I have heard this song thousands of times and never heard it without the incredible guitar solo. I personally think this version is most likely something they requested by Pepsi for the Crystal Pepsi commercial. Hey guys, can you submit an additional version to us without the solo? Maybe we can make a commercial with a voiceover or something that would come in useful, or maybe a promo piece for MTV for a voiceover. I think if they did a version for soft rock radio, they would have just cut the solo section out completely. That would have made the song shorter, to which it is even more pop radio friendly. I just don't see Eddie Van Halen saying, yeah, take my guitar solo out of there for a soft rock radio station. I know it's Van Hagar, but it's still Van Halen, and it's still an album called Fuck. They didn't need record sales by watering it down. Just my opinion, guys. Keep up the great work. Ricky B. from Atlanta, GA. Well, here's the thing. I did some research on the Crystal Pepsi commercial, and they kind of avoid the big guitar moments, and they stick with the keyboard parts. However, it's not that weird keyboard version. But we had a radio guy write in that kind of verified that his station would use that weird keyboard version, as far as that goes, and he kind of verified that. So I don't know what to say about that, Dave. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think, like you said, it's already been verified, so it's definitely was an alternate mix that they released to radio. So
yeah.
I think that one's been put to bed.
Yeah, absolutely. Letter number 12. Hi, Dave and Dave. I'm a fairly new listener to your podcast. In that sense, I've only begun listening earlier this year. I started with episode 1 back in February, and I've listened to every episode through 52 as of this writing, and by the time June drops, I will have caught up and ready to be current going forward. I love this podcast, and I can't get enough of your excellent job. I love your interviews. I love your discussion, and I even love your mailbag. I thought I was an expert on all things VH until I started listening, only to discover I really didn't know as much as I thought. I am humbled. Very informative, entertaining. Keep up the great work. Like so many other fans, when I was 12, I first heard Van Halen in 1979. I was on the school bus after school. A kid with a cassette tape recorder started playing. I would find out later it was Running with the Devil. And I never heard the sound of music so beautiful to my ears. The guitar was so fluid and totally mean at the same time. The way the melody went and the way the harmony was laid out on top of the chord choices had such an impact on me, and I had to ask the kid I didn't know what they were listening to. He said Van Halen. The very name alone sounded cool to me, and sometime after that, I also heard You Really Got Me. He goes on and on and on and on here. Oh my God, Steve, Jesus fucking Christ. He gets into the idea of recycled riffs. So the point he's trying to make here, he says, I didn't hear this mentioned in any other episodes where there have been several discussions involving recycled riffs, 5150 demos and Van Halen 3, so forgive me if you discussed it. In Dirty Water Dog from Van Halen 3, the main riff Eddie plays during the verses is the same riff we've heard in I Want Some Action, one of the unreleased 5150 songs. And here's a clip from Dirty Water Dog.
So can I pay what I support? This platform could I endure?
And here's a clip from I Want Some Action. This is also the same riff used in collaboration that Eddie did with Steve Lukather on Twist the Knife. And it's also the main riff that Eddie and G.E. Smith played on SNL back in '87 when they performed the song called Stompin' at 8H. And Van Halen gets criticized for using riffs that we've all heard, but not taken from prior Van Halen releases. I don't see a problem with it. Every rock composer has vaults of riffs saved up just to use at the right time. I think this riff fits really well with Dirty Water Dog. He also wanted us to let us know that the moan at the beginning of Spanish Fly is not a moan at all. It's Eddie saying, "Here we go," but he says it in sort of a mumbled sort of voice, and you can hear that right here. He said, we have an excellent podcast, and it says Steve, his last name is Ostrike from Michigan. So this riff that you talk about has been recycled, but never really officially released until Van Halen 3. So I think it's fine. It's appropriate. It's not a problem. I think Dirty Water Dog is a perfect example of great guitar work on a weak song. There's a lot of that going on in Van Halen 3. I totally agree with the Here We Go situation. Eddie is definitely mumbling Here We Go before Spanish Fly, so I think you're right on there. Dave, what do you think?
I think that riff has definitely gotten a lot of mileage.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Over the years. So thank you. In fact, I forgot one or two of them, like the Twist the Knife song. So thank you for reminding us how much mileage is really out there.
It's incredible.
With that riff.
It's incredible. Letter number 13 comes from Kurt, 5150 Snyder. He says, a few episodes back, there was a question from Ted's book of the timing of recording Diver Down and the release of Oh Pretty Woman. This incredible interview that he gives me a link to here is worth every last minute listening to Ed talking about the release of the album and how they did it in 12 days. And he says, Secrets is Eddie's favorite song on the album. Kurt, 5150 Snyder. Yeah, I love this interview. This is from 1982. I don't know if it was one of the guitar magazines. It's an over hour-long interview with Eddie on the phone, and oh my God, it just gives you a taste of what Eddie is like. He's such an interesting character, the way his mind works. Yeah, he really gets into it. He says Dave really wanted Dancing in the Street. Eddie suggested Pretty Woman, which he described as their only legitimate hit, if you can believe that. And he also noted that there's no guitar solo in the song, which is rare for Van Halen, and there's also no guitar solo in Dance the Night Away, both of which are big hits for them. He said it did take 12 days to make Diver Down, and it only cost $46,000 to make. He said it's really a fantastic record. Really, if you don't like Diver Down, it's hard to believe that you're a Van Halen fan. I really am sorry. Secrets is Eddie's favorite song. That goes right in line with Quiet Dave over here. That's one of his all-time favorite songs. Obviously,
yes, sir. Yes, indeed.
He's in good company there, right?
Yes, sir.
Anything else to mention there, Dave?
No. We have waxed beautiful about Diver Down and our love for that. So, but I will say that sometimes I do feel like we're in the minority on that because there are a lot of fans who feel that album is a waste and not as good as the other ones.
That's true. Letter number 14. Again, Southeast nice guy Kurt Lancios. He's back. He says, Dear Dave and Dave, I thought you guys would enjoy the attached photos of Steve Vai's Harley Davidson and Michael Anthony's bass at the Hard Rock Cafe in Daytona Beach, Florida, where I snapped the photos while I was on vacation with my wife. The sign for Vai's bike says it was given to him for his 30th birthday, which is 30 years ago, since he just turned 60. It's pretty cool. Anyway, I hope you're both doing well and keep up the good work. Southeast nice guy Kurt Lancios. Okay. Okay, well, listen, thanks for the photos. I'm actually surprised Steve would give an entire motorcycle to the Hard Rock Cafe. Usually they give extra instruments, but that's really excessive. He doesn't even seem like the motorcycle type of guy, to be honest with you. I couldn't see
Well,
Steve,
I guess he didn't want it anymore, and he figured he would donate it instead of selling it.
Guess you're right, Dave. I guess you're right. And we're on to letter number 15, and that comes from Shannon the Dude. Shannon the Dude is back, and this time he has a what if. He says here, Dave's, cue up the what if sounder. By now, you have seen the circle do right now, and probably talked about it in the news. I'm going to ask a very difficult question. I want you to think about it and not just react. Here in 2020, could Sam, Mike, and the Circle beat Dave and the Brothers in a battle of the bands? Don't think about memories of days gone by. It's Dave, you get now with Van Halen, and Sammy, you get now with the Circle. I'm not sure. These Circle covers have been mighty strong. It might be closer than you think. If Dave from the live album shows up, Sammy could steal this one. Here's a whole lot of Rosie. Your move, Dave. Oh, Ed. Notice Sam leaves the keyboards at home. Shannon the Dude. So, listen, Shannon the Dude. He's very prolific this month. He's writing left and right. Now it's time for What If with Dave and Dave. Shit. What if? What if? Dave Marconi's favorite segment. What if? What if, motherfucker?
I don't do what ifs.
Well, what are you talking about? You're talking about, like, cover to cover? I mean, that's the thing. So, I mean, Van Halen has Eddie Van Halen. So that's sort of like the Bulls having Michael Jordan in your corner. So come on, man. What are you talking about? But listen, I don't know what kind of shape these guys are in. Talking about Ed and Al. So, I mean, we haven't heard from them in 5 years. They haven't played in 5 years. We all know where Dave is at. That's okay.
Like Dave, vocally... was on a high.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if Ed and Al are still up to speed, I think they can give the Circle a run for their money, if not blow them out of the water.
I don't know what the rules would be. Are we talking Van Halen songs? We're talking cover songs? It's a good call, though, on Sammy leaving the keyboards at home. I can understand where you're coming from with that. So rubbing it in over there a little bit. Okay, cool.
That's all, folks.
Letter number 16 comes from a guy named Nicky, and he spells it just like Nicky Six, Nikki. And he says, Dear Dave and Dave, just sharing a fun flashback. Back in the day, I was somewhat obsessed collecting all those little stickers on the cellophane wrappers on the albums and cassettes, noting featuring, including tracks. And I still have them all because, of course, rock and metal forever. Among them are stickers for Eat 'em and Smile and 5150, which I still have on the vinyl. Also, from the July 1990 Metal Shop magazine, which contains zero Van Halen or Dave info, there is an ad for Columbia House, and our dearly beloved is listed under, you can only choose from these powerful hits. Love the podcast. I'm very late to the podcast party, and yours is the first I've listened to regularly, recommended by a David Lee Roth obsessed fan. I have been in the Arizona desert for 15 years, but I'm originally from Southeast Connecticut. And I revel in your accents, even though you don't realize that you have them. You sounds like home. LOL. P.S. I have a few more old magazines that I'd like to share. Hit Parader and Circus, circa 1986. There's a Dave article from Hit Parader with a highlighted caption says, I got tired of supporting Ed's habit for Rolex watches and wedding rings. I will try to send some eligible photos of the interview if I am really ambitious, or I will type the interview. Last line of the interview, Ed, go fuck yourself. Ouch. Sincerely, Nicky. Wow. Well, I tell you, it's funny that you bring that up, because I used to religiously read those magazines. Hit Parader, Circus, Metal Edge, Cream, Rolling Stone, Faces, all of them. I used to get them all, and I was all excited about them. I'd read them cover to cover. It was sort of my window into the whole rock world. Remember, there was no internet. This was the internet for us.
Right, that's all we had.
That's all we had. Plus, I used to love the bonus issues where they would have, like, the Sammy versus Dave issue, and the whole issues be about Van Halen. So it's definitely some cool stuff there. It really brings me back to my youth thinking about all that stuff. In the press during this time, there was so much back and forth in these magazines with the bands, like spitting at each other. But to be honest with you, now that I'm older and I'm wiser, I look back at that, and it really is like WWF wrestling. You know, it's like they're almost just promoting each other by doing it. You know what I mean? They just keep promoting it. So I really think it was something along those lines. Do you have anything to say on that, Dave?
Yeah, no, it was all part of the game. They knew what they were doing. But it made for great reading.
It did. Letter number 17 comes from the best pappy ever. I have been hooked on your show